A vine on a house. Just a few miles outside the quiet town of Norton, Missouri, stands an old abandoned house. It was once home to the Harding family, but they vanished without a trace, leaving the house to decay. Now, it's more of a creepy relic, shrouded in whispers and rumors of haunting. The house itself is falling apart, with broken windows, missing doors, and a roof that's seen better days. It looks like any other neglected farmhouse, but people around here have a different story about it. They call it haunted. But what really makes it stand out is the massive vine that completely covers it. This vine, with its unique leaves, is unlike anything any botanist has ever seen. It's as mysterious as the house itself, and it seems to play a role in the Harding family's disappearance. The Harding family was a quiet bunch. Robert Harding, the father, kept to himself, never making friends in the neighborhood. He worked hard on his farm, but even that didn't seem to bring him any joy. His wife, Matilda, was a sweet, sad-eyed woman who was missing her left foot. The neighbors often whispered about the close relationship between Robert and his sister-in-law, Julia, but they always seemed to avoid being seen together, probably because the moral code of rural Missouri was pretty strict. Then, in 1884, Matilda disappeared. Robert said she went to visit her mother in Iowa, but no one ever saw her again. 2 years later, the entire Harding family just vanished, leaving everything behind. Their belongings, their farm, everything. No one knew where they went, and no one really cared, at least not then. Soon, the house became a haven for spooky stories. People started saying it was haunted, the kind of haunted house where strange things happen. One summer evening, the Reverend Gruber from Norton and a lawyer named Hyatt from Maysville were riding their horses past the Harding place. They had business to talk about, so they tied up their horses and sat on the porch to chat. They joked about the house's bad reputation, but it was just a passing thought. They were more focused on their business, until the evening air grew heavy and dark. Then, they both jumped up in surprise. The vine that covered half the house started shaking wildly, its branches thrashing about. It was a strange sight, and it made a lot of noise. The trees around the house were perfectly still, even the delicate branches were unmoving. But the vine just kept shaking. "We're in for a storm!" Hyatt exclaimed. Gruber didn't say anything, but he pointed towards the trees to show Hyatt that nothing else was moving. They rushed down the steps to the yard and looked up at the vine. It was still shaking violently, but there was no reason for it to be moving like that. "Let's get out of here," said the minister. They left, forgetting they were actually heading in opposite directions, and rode away together. They went to Norton, where they told their friends about the strange thing they saw. The next evening at the same time, they went back to the house, this time with a couple more friends. And it happened again. The vine started shaking like crazy. They looked at it closely, from top to bottom, but nothing could explain its violent movements. Even when they tried to hold it still, it wouldn't stop. After an hour, they gave up, no wiser than when they arrived. The whole neighborhood was intrigued by the mystery of the vine. People gathered at the house day and night, hoping to see it move for themselves. No one was ever able to explain it, but everyone agreed that the witnesses were telling the truth. One day, someone, no one knows who, suggested they dig up the vine. After a lot of debate, they decided to do it. They didn't find anything special except for the roots, but the roots were truly bizarre. The vine's thick trunk, a few inches in diameter, went straight down into the ground for a few feet. Then, it split into smaller roots that intertwined and twisted into a complicated pattern. When they carefully removed the soil, it was clear they weren't looking at ordinary roots. They formed a perfect shape, a human figure, a head, a body, limbs, fingers, toes. It was all there. Many even claimed they could see a face in the tangled mass of roots that made up the head. The figure was lying down, with the smaller roots starting to merge together at the chest. But it wasn't a perfect image. One of the legs, just below the knee, suddenly doubled back on itself, making the figure miss its left foot. The conclusion was obvious. The vine had somehow taken the shape of Matilda Harding, the woman who disappeared from the house years ago. But everyone had different ideas on what to do next. The sheriff, who was in charge of the abandoned property, decided to put the root back in the hole and cover it up again. Later investigations revealed a shocking truth. Matilda Harding never went to visit her mother in Iowa. Her family had no idea she was supposed to be there. What happened to Robert Harding and the rest of his family? No one knows. The house still has a bad reputation, but the vine, replanted back in its place, acts like any other normal vine. On a nice summer evening, when the katydids chirp and the whippoorwill calls, it's a pretty peaceful place to sit. But those who know its history can't help but wonder about the secrets hidden beneath the soil, the whispers of the vine, and the haunting mystery of the Harding family. The end. If you like the story, hit that like button and subscribe for more videos. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below. Was there anything that surprised you? Who's your favorite character in the story? I can't wait to hear your thoughts.